Let's start this off, Beej.
There's a cardigan.
Okay.
Top tech.
Top tech.
Top tech, Thomas.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm
Oh,
the
beautiful.
Jeremy-
It
I'm the
buttons
Jeremy
up, too.
Clarkson.
And so if you want to listen to older episodes, it's toptech.tiltyhouse.com.
You probably shouldn't, though.
There are actually some really good episodes.
All right.
We did an episode about keyboards once.
We did.
Tilty House.
.tiltyhouse.com. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised with the keyboard episode. I thought it was going to be boring as bus, but it actually is pretty fun
Let's
episode.
not do a clip show.
I actually did a clip show too.
That's right, you did.
I did a clip show.
Okay,
Alright, here we go.
Yep.
At this time, empty your wallets for child's play as the most powerful men in Canada discuss top tech. This week, the Desert Bus.
It sounded like you were giving birth to that, Beej.
Yeah.
It's been way too long since I've heard that.
It's lovely. So, welcome to Desert Bus for Hope 8. We're doing a very brief revival of our top tech show from the most powerful men in Canada.
It's good to be broadcast again.
Yes, meet Johnny Blakeborough.
Are we doing the ending now?
No,
What's that?
we just introduced
I'm
you.
Ian
Oh,
Horner.
you're right. We do that at the end, don't
But
we?
we can do that at the end. Doesn't matter. And I'm Brendan Beach too.
I'll fix it in post. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the technology that is new to Desert Bus 8. So there's lots of technology every year that we bring to Desert Bus, but we want to talk about, since this is a shorter episode, what are some of the newer and interesting things. So in general, obviously, we had a lot of stuff that we had to do because of the larger, different location.
Yeah, we have this huge space, and I mean, it gives you a lot more option for filming stuff. And for example, everything's in 1080p this year.
No, it is not.
Is it not?
It's in 1080i.
1080i.
Yeah, it's interlaced instead of progressive. There's a couple reasons for that. One, Twitch will not broadcast in 1080p 60 frames.
Okay.
It won't do it. And the other reason is that some of our cameras do 1080p and some only do 1080i, and we can't mix and match. So all the cameras have to be the same in order for it to work with our mixer, which is the same mixer we used last year, but we added a new camera this year.
Right.
The main camera is the Canon C100, which is Loading Ready Run's main kind of high-end
Let's get NASA camera.
production
Main
camera.
Squeeze camera.
This one
And
right here.
it's also running on a Sigma, I believe, 14 millimeter lens, or is it a 12? I think it's a 12 actually, that we rented specifically for this, so we can get that nice wide angle that shows the whole
Aspherically
run.
corrected, in fact.
Yes, yeah. So there's two different types. Well, there's lots of different, but the old lens that we were using at first was more of what's called a fisheye lens, which has lots of distortion. You can actually see if you're watching this that James's head is more distorted than usual. And that's it's a little grayer, and it's sometimes when he gets to the edge of the frame, it kind of gets a little warped. But yeah, so we've got two of the Panasonic AF100 cameras, which we've used in past, and then this new C100. And the other thing we had to do because of this larger space is we added more microphones.
Because last year was like a mic on a boom, and then like a shotgun mic. That was about it, I think.
This year we have 3 up there, which Corey is so graciously ASMRing for us. Plus we got the omnidirectional microphone we used last year in tech, which is now sitting in front of this year's engineering keyboard.
Yeah, which is very clicky.
My steampunk is F,
Yeah.
cyberpunk is F keyboard.
Yep. And so so other things technologically that we've changed up this year. Obviously, we've added a special device.
We had carpet.
Carpet, yeah. Well, no, there was carpet in the old moon base, but we added this.
This is
carpet.
nice carpet.
This is.
The wires can go underneath.
Yeah. That's a nice feature.
Got a mouse.
Oh yeah, you mean Jonathan the mouse?
Yes.
Yeah, not the mouse that we're using on the unit. What are some of the other? Well, the device obviously is a major thing that's different this year.
I'd like to actually go into that for a bit here because we have 2 pieces of AVR, not AVR. Yeah, AVR microcontrollers.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Better.
Sorry.
Yeah, 2 pieces actually in the not the moon base, the lunar module.
Yep.
We've got the device, which is a piece of technology made by Michael. Help me out his last name.
Davis.
And it's a Netduino, is it, or something?
It is it's an AVR microcontroller. Which
Yeah.
Brand name doesn't really matter, but what it means is that it's a piece of programmable microcontroller hardware. And it allows us to remote control and mess with Desert Bus controls. It's actually a pass-through for the Sega CD controllers.
Yeah, and one of the things that Michael did that was really great is that this device that allows us to remotely, interrupt commands from the Sega controller and replace them with something else or change them slightly. It's got a fail-safe, so if you disconnect it from power, it just passes that through without any problems. So.
Which I did not know until we hooked up the device the first time. The Sega CD or the Sega Genesis controller ports are powered.
Yes.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, because they're serial, so I guess
Yep.
yeah, they need power. The other thing that we have in the room that is controlled thusly by a microcontroller is the button, the dance party button this year, which is just a teensy hooked up to a few simple switch circuits.
So a teensy is some sort of microprocessor?
It is again another AVR-based microcontroller.
And
18 mega, 32, I think.
Cool. And you were working on the physical housing and the setting that up till very last minute.
And Corey did
Corey,
Corey again also up to the very last minute was programming the programming the code that goes in it and learning new broken code forms.
So we have a couple pieces of like that more like esoteric hardware, obviously.
Yep.
Then we covered like obviously the cameras, we got all this lighting, we got these mics and everything else. Are we seeing anything new like? Because there is the overlay.
The overlay is using the same technology it used in previous years, which is a combination of Cam Twist and Quartz Composer. However, we do have now the ability to control the overlay remotely.
From a web page.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So theoretically, it actually could be controlled outside of the area, like on a cell phone or something, but we've just got it locked to just this computer.
Will be.
Right.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
But for something
will
like
be.
that means you guys had to have access to everything on the back end. There's a whole API and stuff like that involved.
Sure.
Not really that. It
No,
wasn't
it's-
that
No,
difficult.
actually, there is. We're using Quartz Composer. We're
Yeah.
using a patch by a group called Kinemi, who did the it does a series of patches for Quartz Composer. This one is an HTTP server patch,
Okay.
and I guess you could say that we wrote our own API
Yeah.
for
Well,
the HTML,
You did.
but it's hacks upon hacks.
Yeah, and this doesn't interact with the back end of all of the web stuff.
yes, it
it's
does.
just not Ashton stuff.
Yes, it does.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it does.
How so?
That's done via a series of elaborate Ruby and PHP scripts that run in launch control in the cron jobs.
What kind of commands or information does it get from Ashton's backend?
From
stuff?
Ashton's backend, actually, all the driver stats except for the name of the driver are currently pulled from there.
Yeah, but that's pulled into the overlay. I'm talking about the control, like the web control.
Yeah, the control is actually part of the overlay.
Yeah, well, I know that, but I mean, like the web control it doesn't actually interact with the back end of Ashton's stuff, is what I'm saying. Like the
No.
overlay interacts with Ashton's stuff, and the
Our web controls
and our
are
web
the lower
controls
thirds.
interact with and our web controls interact with Quartz Composer, but our web control has no interaction directly with Ashton's backend.
But they could very easily add
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not
And-
designed to do that.
So then, obviously, we added more lights this year than we've had before because it's a bigger space. We've had what other technological things have we added?
Is there like anything new? Like is like the mixer's the same as last
Yep.
year. The video mixer's the same as
Yep.
last year. I mean, hell, the monitors we've been using for 3 years straight.
We added
like,
a skull.
We added a skull.
Yeah, this year we have two GoPro cameras that we're using on top of the more pro SDI-based cameras that we were using for our main kind of camera shots. And one of the GoPros is up there, if you want to, in that corner up there. And James is waving there. So that GoPro is a GoPro 3, I believe.
Okay.
And then we have another GoPro that we're using for our document camera, or the skull camera, which is mounted right there, and you can see James' lovely face there.
It's for the triumphant return of Skull Cam.
Yep.
So basically,
And those are all plugged into the video switcher, so that you can switch on those with the video switcher. So that's all before it gets into the computer.
so this is kind of like Desert Bus's tick year. Like if we go on a TikTok schedule, it's like talk is like, oh, all new stuff is being introduced. We're having like last year the mixer came in and all these other things that we're doing.
No, I wouldn't say so. That's what we talked about in our Desert Bus meeting. There's too much new stuff for this to be a refinement.
This was
year.
supposed to be a TikTok.
This was supposed to be the
refinements,
but it is not.
Okay.
I mean, would you say that is because we ended up moving though? Like,
Oh, that's one of the reasons. But like, if I don't know if you remember this meeting, we're kind of getting off our normal top tech stuff, but like that was the discussion. We're like, oh, everybody's pretty happy with stuff. We're just going to do a refinement year, and then every single department head came up with something that could fundamentally change how Desert Bus ran. It's like, I want to do something about wrestling, and I want to do a totally different way to do points, and I want to do a back end that's different. I want a new overlay, and I want to use a different system for
That's really interesting to me because I mean, it's a duck swimming is what it is, because on the surface of it. And from the directions you're giving, right? The mics are not that different. We have more of them. The cameras aren't that different. We have more of them.
Well, every year is a refinement over the previous year.
Sure.
But I don't think we've ever had any year where it's just like minor refinements. There's always been a lot of new stuff added.
Right.
We're not reinventing the wheel.
Actually, to be honest, the inside of the overlay does really look like a duck's genitals.
We're just adding more spokes.
Yeah, the overlay is a fairly major change, and of course, this is
metaphors are getting way too.
Yeah, a little bit forced. But the one of the cool things that we added as just kind of a fun thing that we just did on our shift was we added the ability to play a virtual reality Desert Bus.
We got what you're saying is we got an Oculus Rift and we hooked it up.
Yeah, we didn't actually do anything really.
Like saying I added the way for Desert Bus to be about Street Fighter.
Well, it's adding the Oculus Rift is basically the same as adding another camera. We didn't build the camera. We just put it in place.
I'm about to add desert golfing to Desert Bus.
Yeah. But yeah, we found a way of integrating it into the show.
Cool.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of new tech. And I'm pretty happy with how it's going, despite the fact that almost nothing was working right minutes before we started.
But that's actually I'd like to say one of the best parts about Desert Bus is how quickly we can adapt during the run and get things up, and like nothing ever works to begin with.
And nothing ever works.
Let me put it differently than that. Nothing ever works perfectly from the start.
And nothing ever works perfectly for the whole show, and that's part of the charm of it. It's a little bit put together.
But we haven't had any. We actually haven't had any real showstoppers yet.
Nope.
Nope.
Way to jinx it, Ian.
We gotta bring this to a close.
Yeah, we've got to bring this to a close. So thank you to my co-host, I being Johnny Blakeburn.
I'm Ian Orta.
And unlike you two, I get to go home and sleep. I'm Brendan Beej.
Thanks for joining us. Please come back again.
Yay!